Tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow we are streaming starting at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock Central Time. We're going to be streaming and we're going to be opening Pokemon cards until we hit 75,000 subscribers. When that happens, we are finally going to open up this box right here. I haven't even opened it yet, so I really hope that everything that is supposed to be in here is in here. But we're going to be opening this bad boy up, and we're going to be going over the details for our special 75,000 subscriber giveaway stream. It's going to be great. I can't wait. Tomorrow's going to be a ton of fun. We are opening up so many packs. I already started pulling. I've got about 2/3 of them pulled and ready to go. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I hope to see you guys all there. But before we do that, we have got to talk about Charizard some more, because I said we were going to do two parts. We talked the other day. If you haven't watched it yet, go back, watch the video we just posted on Sunday where we go over Charizards that are doing okay in the current market. Unfortunately, there are a lot of Charizards that are not doing okay in the current market, and we are analyzing 3 months of data where a bunch of Charizards, I pulled 21 specific Charizards that are continuing to decline in price, and this is already after this giant collapse when it comes to a lot of these vintage cards. So some of these Charizards are getting to a point where it might be worthwhile to start paying attention to these price points if you want to add some of these to your collection. I don't know if they're going to go much lower than what they're at right now, especially with the market kind of bottoming out right now and a lot of singles. These are already cards that have decreased significantly in price, and now we're looking at the last 3 months of data, more decreases. It's absolutely crazy. So without further ado, what is going on, Fan Clan? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you're having a really good week so far. I'm not going to waste any of your time. We're going to flip you guys around right away and kind of jump into things. Like I said, we're going over 21 specific Charizards here. We're not going over all the Charizards, and some of the more expensive ones we're not going over at all because they just don't sell enough to get really accurate data, like the Gold Star Charizard, like the first edition Shadowless Charizard, those really big ones, the Crystal Charizard. There's not really good data sets on how and what price points those are selling for, because those are kind of cards where it's like, this is worth what people are willing to pay at the current time, at the current market. You might see ups and downs all over the place, but there's not going to be a whole lot of consistencies because these aren't cards that just sell a ton. These are cards right now that we're going over that sell a lot more frequently. So we're starting off with just the regular old base set holo. This came out in 1999. This is like the OG of the epitome of Pokemon card collecting. This is the base set Charizard right here. This at one point in time was well over $400 during the big boom of Pokemon. It went way down, kind of leveled off a little bit, as you can see, hit $360.47 a couple months ago, and now it's declined even further, where a near mint copy is sitting at a 3-month low right now of $335.14. This is the lowest that it's been in the past couple of years. Now, one thing to take note of and be understanding of is that 4 or 5 years ago, this card was selling in near mint condition for $50, $60. So this ballooned in price like crazy during the pandemic, and now it started to go down. A lot of these cards got sent off to PSA, to CGC, to Beckett to get graded. So a lot of raw cards in near mint condition are going to be a little bit tougher to find in near mint condition. You're looking at about $335.14. This might go down a little bit further yet, but as you can see, over the past 3 months, it's continued to just trend in the downward direction, which is absolutely crazy. Next, we're looking at the Celebrations Charizard, which just continues to go down despite the fact that not as much Celebrations product is open. We're going to look later on this week at the sealed market for Celebrations, because a lot of the sealed market is actually going up. People are starting to pay more attention, get more excited about those cards because pull rates are so much better, and I think we're kind of at a blah state right now. Pokemon Go is a great set to open, but it doesn't really tickle everybody's fancy. I don't know if that's something that people should, if I should say tickle fancy, I don't know. Regardless, it's not something for everybody, so some people are going back to the most recent specialty set prior to Pokemon Go, which was Celebrations. Booster packs are starting to climb a little bit in price, but Charizard continuing to fall. This was at $70.69 back in May, and it's done nothing but go down since then. As you can see, $67.57 is its 3-month low. It's actually dropped almost 20% over the last 3 months. The next one that we're going to look at is the Charizard VMAX with the reprint of Shining Fates. There's just so much of this product out and about all over the place. The Charizard VMAX at one point was at $126.10 back in May. It's gone down all the way to $100.19 as a market price. So close to double digits. It did go back up a little bit, sitting at 106.44. Again, this is another card where there's just tons of them out there getting graded, tons of them out there all over the place with the amount of Shining Fates product that has been opened up. I do expect this card to go up and increase in value over time, but for a while I think it's going to be hovering around that $100 mark. It's got to be getting pretty close to that floor, that bottoming out price, because it is still a Charizard and it is still a secret rare. It is still a very, very in-demand card, but never would I have expected it to fall this far from where it began when Shining Fates originally released. It's absolutely crazy. That's why we don't buy into FOMO, folks. That's absolutely nuts. Then we're looking at the Charizard from Evolutions. I remember buying holographic cards and reverse holographic cards of this specific Charizard for $12, $13 all day 3 or 4 years ago, and now it's done a great job of just blowing up because so many people paid attention to this art in specific because the base set art was just getting too expensive. At one point, this card was at $65.17. You can see in the middle of May, it's done nothing but go down since then. It's sitting at $43.84. That is an absolutely huge dramatic drop. You're looking at over 30% there. The reverse hollow has done much better, and we're not paying too much attention to the reverse hollows, but you can see it's actually leveled out fairly well, where it's sitting right around that $47 market price. It's actually doing better, outperforming the holographic variant of the card, which is very, very interesting. But you can see this one down to $43.84, another 3 months low. Now we're going to pay attention to the alternate art Charizard V. This card at one point in time was selling for over $200 when the set first released. $206.49 was its high point. It dropped all the way down to $161.48 about a week ago, and it's gone back up to $164.58 now, but still about $40 lower than its 3-month high. And it wouldn't surprise me if this card continued to drop more and more as more Brilliant Stars packs get opened up. We can't find booster boxes of Brilliant Stars for a really good price, but you can find a lot of loose packs out there because it's been jammed in so many different collection boxes. And as more collection boxes continue to go out, more of these are going to get pulled. You might see this card go down to 130, 140, somewhere around that ballpark, but we'll see as things move forward. Charizard VMAX, this card was absolutely nuts when the set first came out, selling for over $100, dropped down to $50 in May, and it's continued to go down. We saw some huge drops for this Charizard VMAX about 6-7 months ago, and now it's just continuing to go down and down. It's down to $38.74 currently, which is just barely above its 3-month low of $38.11. Darkness Ablaze continuing to just go down and not perform the way I think anybody would have hoped it to, but now as Darkness Ablaze is not getting opened up as much anymore, booster box is starting to creep back up a little bit more in price. Still a lot of ETBs available, but they're not throwing those packs in collection boxes or anything like that, and we do expect Darkness Ablaze to rotate some point in the next season, maybe around January. So Darkness Ablaze not getting opened as much. You might see this card start to even off, start to level out around that $35, $38 mark. Then we've got the Charizard V-Star, which has done a good job of staying consistent over the last month, but I'm not sure if we've hit the actual dip yet completely for Charizard V-Star Rainbow Rare. At one point it was $155.02 when the set first released. It did drop all the way down to $101.29. Now it's stayed fairly consistent over the last month and a half. It's sitting at $104.87, but again, same thing as what we saw with the alternate art Charizard. With more Brilliant Stars packs continuing to be open, more of these are going to get pulled. This is going to be in format for quite some time now, and while a lot of people aren't necessarily playing this for a competitive purpose, people are opening the packs because it is going to stay in standard format for quite a while, so we might see this go down even further. The Hidden Fates Charizard is another interesting one because at one point in time it was over $400, $401.08, and this is coming off, whereas it was even up to $600, $700 at one point during the boom, so this is coming down even further, $401.08 in May, and you can see it kind of leveled off a little bit, and then all of a sudden, boom, dropped about $26 over the past month or so. It's down to $375.55, which is its 3-month low. Then we've got the Charizard VMAX from Champion's Path. This is a rainbow rare that a lot of people were super excited about. I remember when the first Black Label 10 kind of hit the market and people were going absolutely nuts, paying close to $10,000 for that Black Label. $245.15 is where it was at the beginning of May. Look at how far it's dropped. You're looking at about a $70 drop, so 35% down to $178.10 is its 3-month low, and it's just continuing to go down, so really no understanding of how low it's going to go. But again, another set, Champion's Path, ETBs are getting more expensive. A lot of the product is getting more expensive, so we might not see a whole lot of these getting opened up anymore. A lot of these did get graded, so people might be preferably going to that market, going to the graded market. But to see a near mint raw copy one selling for $178.10, just continuing to go down, very, very interesting. Then we've got the secret rare Charizard here. At one point in time, 444.55. This is from the Dragon set. That was at the beginning of May. You can see a huge drop right away. It dropped all the way down to 221.18. So it was basically cut in half. And basically what that means is people weren't willing to pay that $400 mark. People started listing it for significantly cheaper. And then it started to move a little bit. And then you had some consistency as far as sales go. Then it jumped back up to 270, 243, but still way lower than what it was selling at one point. I did look at comps over the past year of this card, and it was selling at one point for $600-700 as well. So huge drops when it comes to the secret rare Charizard from the Dragon set. Then we've got the full art Charizard V from Brilliant Stars. 48.69 was its height at the beginning of May when the set first came out. Now it's sitting at 35.45, which is just barely above its 3-month low of 33.95. Really gone down. We might see it go down a little bit further if you start comparing this to like what we saw from the Charizard VMAX from Battle Styles. You might see it go down a little bit further, somewhere around that $20-25 mark as more and more Brilliant Stars product gets open. Then we've got the Mega Charizard. This is the one from Evolutions. This one was kind of reprinted several times because we had a regular Mega Charizard EX from Flashfire, and then you had the secret rare variant, and then you had the Evolutions artwork. Very similar. At one point this was selling for $26.06, but like many other Evolutions cards, dropped like a rock not too long after that. It did drop down to $21.63, so we lost about 20% on this Charizard EX. It's sitting at $22.66 right now, but still heading in the downward direction, much closer to his 3-month low than his 3-month high. Then we've got this lovely Radiant Charizard from Radiant Collection Charizard from Generations. At one point it was selling for $19.26. I love this card because the entire line, Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard all they tell a story, right? And that's what makes this so great. That's what is so great about Pokemon. $19.26 is where this was at the beginning of June, and it's just dropped like crazy, down to $12.60, and really just heading in the wrong direction completely. That is a very significant, you're looking at almost 40% right there that it's lost over the past couple months. Absolutely insane. Then we've got the Burning Shadows Charizard GX, another card that was very difficult to grade because the Burning Shadows cuts were so bad. And this is different than what's going on with the Rainbow Charizard from Burning Shadows, which is actually trending in the upward direction. This one is going down. $17.28 is where it was at one point in May, beginning of May, and it's just gone down since then. We had a slower drop for the next few months and then drop pretty hard over the last month, now sitting at $14.73, which is a 3-month low. Then we've got the Charizard Level X. I believe this is the promo copy. It was one point selling for $140.40, dropped like a rock overnight because it just wasn't selling at that $140 mark. Dropped all the way down to $117.36. Had a few sales at that point in time before climbing up to $119.52, but still heading in the wrong direction, the downward trajectory. Then we've got the Metal Charizard, which a lot of people get really excited about because of the ridiculous pricing of the Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection. At one point in time, just a month and a half ago, this was selling for $133.26. So if you're looking at kind of piecing together the Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection because you can't find it, this has dropped to a point now where it's selling below the price of an Ultra Premium Collection at MSRP, which is very interesting because it hasn't happened yet for this card. $113.16 is its 3-month low, which is what it's selling for right now. We've got the Reshiram Charizard GX Rainbow Rare. This is different than the one that we looked at the other day because we looked at the Charizard and Breaks in Rainbow Rare. This at one point in time was selling for $158.75. It's interesting because this was selling for significantly higher than that, selling at one point in time for about $200 about 6-7 months ago. So it's dropped even further, and you can see it's dropped all the way down to $153.44 as its 3-month low, and that's kind of where it's staying right now. Then we've got the Full Art Mega Charizard from Evolutions. Again, like the other Evolutions cards, just continuing to drop in price, which is very interesting. $44.76. This was a $90 card at one point in time. $44.76 was its 3-month high at the beginning of May. It's lost about 10% of that, sitting at $40.59 currently, which is barely above its 3-month low of $40.47. We're looking at the final 3 right now. The Charizard, this is the normal deck exclusive rare, not a holographic variant. So this is selling at one point in time for $112.85. It was even higher than that 6-7 months ago. It did drop all the way down to $87.18, which is where it's been sitting over the last several months. It just wasn't selling over that $100 mark, really heading in the opposite direction. I think a lot of people got this card wanting to build a Legendary Collection Master Sets or whatever the case may be, kind of spiked the price up quite a bit. Now it's just dropping down. Another interesting one is the Vivid Voltage promo card Charizard. This one was going off the shelves like crazy because the Vivid Voltage pre-release kit was so difficult to find. This at one point in time was selling for over $100 as well. It did hit $70.85 at the beginning of June, and then it dropped all the way down to a 3-month low now of 67.97. That's the lowest this card has been since Vivid Voltage was released. And even though Vivid Voltage got reprinted several times, it wouldn't impact this card as much because this one is the promo stamped that came in the pre-release boxes, which didn't get reprinted as much as the ETBs and as much as the booster boxes, but still selling for a 3-month low of 67.97, incredibly cheap. The final one that we're going to look at is the full art Charizard and Braixen, which is just a gorgeous card. I really like this card, and I was seeing them on TCG Player the other day for $23, $24 for a full art, which is really, really cool. $30.68 is its high point, which it actually hit in the beginning of July before dropping all the way down to $28.87. And like I said, you can find them for $23, $24 right now in near mint condition, which means this market price is going to drop even further. And I thought it would be interesting to look at, because if you're going to compare this one to the full art from the full art Reshiram and Charizard, which is doing pretty well. This set came out a little bit after Unbroken Bonds, but selling for about $10, $15 less, I thought was very interesting to look at as well. So $28.87 is its 3-month low, but really this is going to adjust down closer to that $25 mark as this price continues to go down and down. So a lot of Charizards here that are heading in the downward direction, and it's important to look at. If you look at the entire scope of things and see how they have been performing over the last year, you see really significant drops before you finally start seeing things level out, and you see the drops not as substantial anymore, which is what we're looking at some of these. So like this Mega Charizard full art right here, dropping $4 over the last 3 months. That may seem like a giant drop because it's dropping 10%, but when you factor in the fact that it already dropped about 60% over the 6 months prior to that, it means it's starting to level out a little bit. So we might see the bottom on some of these Charizards. Might be worthwhile to kind of pay attention. If you have these that you need to, if you need some of these to add to your collection, might be the time to kind of start shopping around, seeing the best prices that you can find. I hope you guys like this kind of data. If you do, please hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like and a comment because it does go a long way for the algorithm. Hope to see you guys all tomorrow for our big 75,000 stream. Hopefully we get there. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for everything. Until then, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.